I'm here because I am a roaring lion crying out righteousness. When we have a nation that's led by these men, watch what they say out of one side of their mouth and what they say out of the other side of their mouth when the orange-haired orangutan is on the scene.
I'm a never Trump guy. I never liked him.
I got the easiest job in politics because all that I have to do is go out and remind the American people that Donald Trump was the president of peace and prosperity.
I bet you all know, you all have friends. You all have friends that are thinking about voting for Donald Trump. Friends, do not let friends vote for con artists. By giving voice to everyday Americans, President Trump has not just transformed our party, he has inspired a movement.
Donald, you're a sniveling coward, and leave Heidi the hell alone.
God bless Donald J. Trump.
He's a race-baiting, xenophobic, religious bigot. He doesn't represent my party. He doesn't represent the values that the men and women who wear the uniform are fighting for. This is the toughest guy I think I ever met. He's the modern version of Teddy Roosevelt.
I'm going to ask you to play that again, so hold tight for that on that clip, Mr. Engineer. But in reality, America is now being led by those people. J.D. Vance, I'm going to bring him back up again. The first one that said he never liked Trump is now the vice president, right? You say, well, Pastor Manning, people can have a change of heart. Listen, if you think somebody's Hitler, you may think somebody's a bad person, right? That person ain't no good, a liar, a thief. And you may have a change of heart if the person changes their behavior. But if the person doesn't change their behavior, then what's your premise or predicate for having a change of heart? Donald Trump has not changed his behavior in J.D. Vance, but J.D. Vance has changed. J.D. Vance once said that Trump was America's Hitler. Now he's the vice president. I mean, no matter what you might think about Trump or what you might think about J.D. Vance, when America is subject to the leadership of such persons who are that phony. Mr. Engineer, run J.D. Vance, and we'll take the other guy. We'll take them one by one this time.
I'm a never Trump guy. I never liked him.
I got the easiest job in politics because all that I have to do is go out and remind the American people that Donald Trump was the president of peace and...
Okay. Now, this is... J.D. Vance is vice president. He's been elected. He's a vice president-elect. What did Trump change about when J.D. Vance said, I never liked the guy? And in a broader statement said Trump was America's Hitler, right? Has Trump changed in any way? But this is what the tribulation is like. These are the people that are leading America. I think we're going next to Marco Rubio. I think he's going to be next. I think he called Marco Rubio Little Marco. And he belittled Marco Rubio up and down the campaign trail. Go ahead, Mr. Engine number 2.
Prosperity.
I bet you all know, you all have friends. You all have friends that are thinking about voting for Donald Trump. Friends, do not let friends vote for con artists. By giving voice to everyday Americans, President Trump has not just transformed our party, he has inspired a movement.
Okay, stop right there. Now, let's say, for instance, you're living in London or you're living in Sao Paulo or you're living in Beijing. And this man, Little Marco, said that Trump is a con artist, right? Now, this same man that said that Trump is a con artist is now the Secretary of State. So as the Secretary of State, he has a big-time job of being America's great diplomat, right? He travels to all the nations, meet with the heads of state, and he commands an audience. And he does it on behalf of America and on behalf of the president. He's a secretary. Everybody in Beijing, everybody in Sao Paulo, everybody in London, everybody in North Korea, everybody in Paris, everybody in Rome knows that this man called Trump a con artist. So when they sit down at the table, as a Secretary of State, they sit down at the negotiation table, right? And Kim Jong-un's looking across the table at him and saying, but you call your president a con artist. And yet you got Air Force One, got this big plane, you got all this power. You call your president a con artist, and yet you want me to negotiate on behalf of my nation of who you think is a con artist? I mean, if this ain't a tribulation, I don't know what to call it. Mr. Engineer, let's go to the next one. Little Marco. Let's go to Ted Cruz with his lying self.
Donald, you're a sniveling coward, and leave Heidi the hell alone.
God bless Donald J. Trump.
Okay, Mr. Stop. Now, this is Senator Ted Cruz from down in Texas, right? Donald Trump said, he called Ted Cruz lying Ted. Called him lying Ted, said his wife Heidi was ugly as a bat, said Ted Cruz's father had something to do with the assassination of John Kennedy. So Ted Cruz, you know, in his response back then when Ted was ready, he said, Donald, you're lying, sniveling, whatever it is you said, leave Heidi the hell alone, right? He comes right back, and now this is a senator. I mean, were I to just sit down as a pastor and Ted Cruz came to me as a senator on behalf of the Republican Party representing Donald Trump, I said, but didn't you call him a sniveling dog or something like that? And now you want to represent him before? What is going on in America, everybody? What is going on in America? It's the tribulation, stupid. Oh, I see. What's next? What's the next one, Mr. Engineer?
He's a race-baiting, xenophobic, religious bigot.
Hold on. He's a race baiter. Whoa. Race baiter, xenophobic. What does that mean? It means he got some ideas of hatred toward people's religion or their racial or their religious ideologies. A religious bigot. What's the rest he gonna call him? This is Lindsey Graham, senator from South Carolina.
Represent my party. He doesn't represent the values that the men and women who wear the uniform are fighting for. This is the toughest guy I think I ever met. He's the modern version of Teddy Roosevelt.
Okay, so here's a senator from the state of South Carolina. And he is saying he's a race baiter, he's a xenophobic, he's a religious bigot, he's a whatever else, the fourth thing he said that Trump was, and that he doesn't represent South Carolina. Then Lindsey Graham, Trump does not represent America. He doesn't represent me. So think about what the rest of the world, especially the third world, they're looking at. How are these people have said these things? And by the way, they're not there. These were just four that we were able to clip. What about Mitch McConnell and a bunch of others in leadership that have said things, or people like Tucker Carlson, who went over to Russia and interviewed Vladimir Putin and tried to make Trump look good in the eyes of Vladimir Putin. And Putin asked him, is this some sort of a talk show, or you want to have a serious conversation with me? Tucker Carlson and Vladimir Putin. I mean, how could you let it, and everybody knows publicly that Tucker Carlson hates Donald, everybody knows that Sean Hannity hates Donald Trump's toenails. I mean, they hate him way back up and way back up and when? Back up to his mama's womb. They hate him. They hate him in Fox News. All the people that hate him. So, I mean, you have to ask yourself then, is this the structure of America that now Little Marco is going to be the Secretary of State, going to travel around the world on behalf and meet with heads of state. They're going to meet with Xi Jinping on behalf of the man who he said is a con artist. I would ask the question. The answer is, it's the tribulation. I never dreamed that America would stoop to a slop jaw like this. It is absolutely unbelievable that this is what's going on in our world today. That the Secretary of State called the now president a con artist. Did Trump do anything to, if you will, redeem himself from that title for Marco Rubio? Has Trump stopped conning people? Is he all of a sudden now confessed and, taken on the sacraments and become a saint? It is absolutely incredible that, so I have no respect for them. I have no respect for Fox News. I mean, and I definitely, I think that the CBS and NBC and all the others, as we opened up with several minutes ago, that they're awful people, but at the very least, they are not sycophants, sickos like Fox News and the Republican Party. It is absolutely unbelievable